know that some sins are so dark that even time cannot wash them away? There exists a village where life withers as soon as the sun sets, and the restless dead rise to find those who wronged them. Today's story belongs to a man who, driven by greed, opened a door that had been sealed for centuries. If you have a faint heart, turn off this video now, because what you are about to hear will haunt your very soul. The Call of the Cursed Hamlet. When the malevolent shadows of night stretch across the earth, certain realities awaken that the human mind is not prepared to face. My name is Shahid, and I am a photographer by profession. The greatest regret of my life is a journey I began 5 years ago. It was a settlement that existed on the maps, yet its air carried nothing but the scent of decay. The village elders used to whisper that this land was under a curse that wakes every 30 years to claim its blood debt. I dismissed these tales as mere superstition, but the moment I crossed the village borders, a heavy, suffocating silence gripped my chest. Entering the village felt like stepping out of time. Shattered houses stood like skeletons, their peeling walls looking like diseased skin, and their dark windows resembling the hollow eyes of a corpse. I took out my camera and began capturing the desolation. Suddenly, I felt a gaze burning into the back of my neck. I spun around. Far off, under a gnarled neem tree, sat an old woman. Her hair was as white as bone, and her sightless eyes were fixed on the gray sky. I approached her to ask for directions, but the moment my hand touched her shoulder, she let out a blood-curdling shriek, a sound so primal it couldn't have come from a human throat. In the blink of an eye, the woman vanished. In her place stood a weathered headstone, and as I cleared the moss, my blood turned to ice. My own name was carved into the stone. My hands trembled, and my camera crashed to the dirt. As I bent to retrieve it, a sound bubbled up from beneath the earth. It wasn't laughter. It was the sound of dry bones snapping. Overcome by terror, I ran toward the only large structure nearby, a decaying mansion. As I crossed the threshold, the massive wooden door slammed shut behind me of its own accord. The outside world vanished. I was trapped in a tomb where the walls bled and heavy footsteps echoed from the stairs above. The revelation of the dark truth. The interior of the mansion was far more horrific than its exterior. Sobbing echoed from every room, sounding like hundreds of souls were bricked alive within the walls. I flicked on my flashlight, and the beam revealed a floor littered with human remains, their clothes still eerily intact. These were the ones who came before me, the ones who never left. Suddenly, the grand hall ignited with a ghostly yellow light. An ancient court appeared before my eyes. On a throne sat the same old woman, but now she was young and breathtakingly beautiful, though her eyes still held that same ancient malice. She looked at me with a predatory smile. "By entering here," she whispered, her voice vibrating in my marrow, "you have unsealed the gate we died to protect." She revealed the village's black secret. Buried deep beneath the soil was an ancient demonic entity that hungered for human flesh. Every 30 years, it required a sacrifice, a stranger from the outside world. My legs gave way. The shadows around me began to take shape, their faces melting and distorting as they closed in. I tried to find an exit, but the geometry of the house was changing. Where there was a door, there was now only solid, cold stone. I felt the air leaving my lungs as the spirits reached for me. In a moment of desperation, I remembered the prayer beads my mother had given me. I clutched them and began to pray with every ounce of faith I had left. A deafening explosion rocked the mansion. The spirit shrieked in agony as thick, black smoke filled the air. When the smoke cleared, I found myself lying on the dirt road outside the village. The sun was rising, and birds were chirping as if nothing had happened. I looked back, but there was no village, no mansion, only a barren wasteland of thorns. I stumbled to my car and drove until the world felt real again. But when I looked into the rearview mirror, my heart stopped. My hair had turned snowy white, and on my forehead was a dark, charred mark, the same symbol I had seen etched into the mansion's door. I had escaped, but the shadow followed me. Even now, in the silence of the night, I hear the sound of snapping bones behind me, reminding me that the journey into that mansion never truly ended.